Hello and welcome to Flock Talk. Today we're joined by a very special guest, Marlee Matlin, duck mom and actor, and her interpreter, Jack.
Mom.
Mom, yes, mom. That is a really appropriate way to begin because your daughter Isabel graduated yesterday.
She did absolutely graduate yesterday from the University of Oregon. Go Ducks.
Congratulations to both of you and to your whole family.
Thank you very much.
We're excited to have you here for a number of reasons. You did our commencement speech yesterday at the main ceremony, and it was wonderful.
Thank you. It felt really good because what better place to do a commencement speech than at the University of Oregon, a place where you feel like you're at home. And I felt a sense of belonging when I came here, a sense of family, regardless of whether you're talking about faculty or friends or staff. I met so many people that really it's just a special place. Yeah. And for me, to be able to have the opportunity to speak for 10 minutes, the kind of remarks that I made to the graduates in front of me was something that I felt was, it was certainly an honor. And I hoped that what it was that I spoke of will resonate with them, and they'll take away with them as they leave the campus.
I think it will. I think they took away, and I actually was there. I was sitting in the audiovisual tent directly in front of the podium, and I had a chance to watch the students' response to your speech. And I noted very early there were a handful of students who clearly in the education college who knew a bit of ASL and were responding to your remarks appropriately with the right sign. When you said something that they enjoyed, they clapped. And I watched that spread across the audience. And it was just such a pleasure to watch the students embrace what you were saying and embrace trying to be responsive and I want to say be welcoming to you in a way that the only way they knew how they could.
Yeah, it was my message. I didn't want to be able to sound preachy because I know a lot of times, as I've said, they probably heard all of this before.
Yes.
And they didn't hear just one thing they didn't hear was, courage plus dreams equals success. That I knew they hadn't heard that before. And so I had that message up there and I emphasized it by having them sign it. And that was spectacular for me because, there we're all signing together in unison.
Shared experiences.
And it was pretty powerful. I thought it was a powerful moment.
Yes. And I think shared experiences are so powerful in that way, to have folks learn something new, but also be able to communicate with you in a way that was successful.
Right, exactly. And, when I went back to my hotel, I had people come up to me on the street so excitedly signing exactly what I taught them.
Yes, I bet.
And that was it was exciting. Obviously, they were listening too. And we're talking about grandparents and parents.
Yes, yeah. Commencement is just such a wonderful day. Everyone is happy. I tell parents this at orientation, which we call introduction, spelled with a K. And we have an opportunity at that moment to help parents sort of reset their expectations for their students who are coming into the U of O and think about that time 4 or 5 years from today, right when they start, that grades are great, but really success is a happy, well-rounded student who's walking away with a degree. And that's what's so wonderful about commencement. They don't ask about their grades. They ask about what kinds of experiences they had, what they're planning to do next, what they learned. And they look at people who have become better versions of themselves and who have earned a degree. And it's really fun to watch.
You're absolutely right. And in this very room, I remember my husband and I actually sitting in this room here for the parent orientation. And it was, we had no idea what the future was going to bring. We didn't know what the future was going to be for the 4 years that our daughter was going to be at college here, We had no expectations. We had no ideas. We had no expectations about what her classes would look like, what it would be with the friends that she would make. The bottom line was what everything would look like as a University of Oregon student. For her, we had no idea. Knowing that we had to just basically drop her off and go home. We had no idea.
And it's only 900 miles away.
Right. And now, as we're sitting here, knowing that the 4 years went by in a blink, we realized it was such a rich experience for her. And I can speak for her, saying that she'll probably never forget her years here. All the things that, though they were unexpected, that she didn't realize that she would learn, at the same time, would understand it's part of the journey that she was going to have, what she was going to feel, what she was going to taste. This is what it was. Oh, okay. This is what everyone did. This is what everyone becomes. This is what everyone is. And because of the University of Oregon. The University of Oregon is their foundation.
Yeah.
And now that she's graduated, it's up to her going forward to determine where she will go, who she will become.
Yeah.
And we can say to her, we will be there to watch as life changes, to watch what life gives you. And wherever you go, that's what a life's journey is all about. Chapters.
Yeah.
Every chapter is an experience.
Yeah.
And fortunately, University of Oregon is the initial chapter. And my husband and I will be forever grateful for the school for what they did for her.
Well, we love hearing that. We love knowing that she found success and happiness and has the opportunity to go out and do what she wants now. Speaking of that, I think that as a young person who has a famous parent, she probably at one point was maybe craving the opportunity to do her own thing. Do you think that's part of why she chose an institution out of state, perhaps out of nearby where you live? I know that you've got plenty of universities near where you live, but she chose an out-of-state school. She chose a community that's much smaller than the one that she grew up in. And it feels natural to think that maybe she was hoping to write her own story.
Believe it or not, all my 4 kids, Isabel being the youngest, I have given them, well, since they were born, the opportunity to develop their own identities, separate from what I do as an actor or as a famous person, quote unquote, to the point where they don't live in my shadow. So Isabel, I think, being the youngest, is probably the most separated, if I can put it that way, from what I do. So I don't know if it's necessarily her intention to come here because of who I am. I don't really think so. I think she chose the university because she knew it was the right school for her.
Perfect.
And nothing to do with me.
Good. I love that. I'm also the youngest of 4 children. And I always teased my folks about how tired of parenting they were by the time it was time to send me off to college. They were they're a different generation. And I had a very different college-going experience than my siblings. Can you talk about sort of how different Isabel's experience was from her siblings in terms of leaving the nest?
So the first one my oldest went to Santa Barbara City College, but she only stayed for a year, and then she found the academics wasn't for her. So she exited out into the business world, into the fashion world.
Yeah, great.
And she gave me a granddaughter as well. My second oldest played soccer initially, and then was asked to attend Emerson College and join their soccer team in Boston. So that was from California to Boston. But unfortunately, the pandemic hit. So he never got to play. And then he decided to come home. And then when he was home, he went to community college online for a year. And then one day he announced that he was going to Marquette University in Milwaukee. I said, okay. Me being from Chicago, I thought, oh, that's fine. It's close enough to home, where Chicago. So he graduated from Marquette. Then our third oldest went to San Diego State University.
Grade school.
After a year and a half, one night in October, he said, hey, on the phone, I'm moving to Chicago. And I said, wait, time out. Wait, what about school? Well, I applied to DePaul. DePaul in Chicago? What happened to San Diego? And he goes, yeah, I just decided to change my mind. I wanted to change my program. I'm going to go study film at DePaul. And so he did everything on his own. He's a very independent kind of thinking child. So he went to DePaul and he graduated from DePaul.
Fantastic.
In film. And then you can say they're all very different.
Yes.
You know, they're all very, very different. The experiences were different. And yes, all three graduated. And now this school is probably the most, it's so, the collegiate rah-rah sort of atmosphere, you know, it's strong in sports, it's strong in everything as colleges go. And I'm sorry to say that to the two older ones, this is probably the most fun experience for us as parents to have our daughter go to U of O.
We won't tell them.
And I got the most teased by my friends, unfortunately. As a girl from Chicago, you got to give me a break here. As a girl from Chicago and a fan of the Chicago Bears, the Green Bay Packers are sworn enemies, and they're the same colors as the University of Oregon. But I embraced that, wearing green and yellow, even though I got teased at it at home. It's okay. But now she's graduated, so will I be wearing green and yellow again? I'm not quite sure. I'll have to think about that. But I'll do it for the Ducks.
Yes.
I'll do it for the Ducks. But yeah, that's okay.
Perfect. So you mentioned this yesterday in your speech that you are a big fan of sports. Did you make it up for any Duck sporting events? Or did you go to any down in your area?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I went to a lot of games. I went to a lot of football games. And we did a great tailgate at the Rose Bowl. We're not going to talk about the results of that game that happened at the Rose Bowl, but that's okay. I love the players. I love the passion. I love the games. All of the athletes, every single sports participant at the University of Oregon, and well, in the school, other than academics, it's important to conduct oneself with good sportsmanship, and that's what they do here. That's important to me. And but yeah, the games were fun. They were fun for us. We really enjoyed them.
Nice. I love that. You mentioned also in your speech yesterday that you yourself didn't go to college, but you had a different kind of education in growing up in a very public way. And can you talk to me a little bit about, or I guess maybe talk to our audience a little bit about the things that you didn't know that you've learned along the way about sending a kid to college? I think particularly any of your children, all of them had their own experiences. And I know that Isabel is your first to go off to college. But without that own personal experience of going off to college, what was it that surprised you, or that you were happily or maybe a little bit worried about? What were your concerns or things that you were excited about watching your kids go off to college?
Well, naturally, I did not have the college experience. I maybe had 2 quarters at a community college in Chicago. So I wouldn't lie about it, but I didn't really have that college experience. I wasn't very strong in academics. I've always been acting ever since I started in theater as a young girl. Mm-hmm. Academics weren't really for me. It was more about the arts and playing around. But my husband went to Fresno State University.
Okay.
So he graduated. So fortunately for me, I had him as my backup for experience when it comes to our kids. And he was the one who really helped with navigating the selection process, helping with the kids find the classes that they wanted to find. I was struggling to understand the whole process itself of,
Yeah.
applications and all that, which school is best for them. But I mean, at the same time, they did it on their own. That being said, as far as myself goes, I was a little thrown about how it is that it works this way. What is the big deal? Wait, time out here. And that was both fraternity and sorority life.
Yes.
I got nervous about that because I didn't quite understand that world, Greek life. Mm-hmm. And because my second oldest started soccer when he was 4 years old, and he was an incredible player and a very well-respected captain throughout his 4 years in high school. And he actually played on varsity team when he was a junior and sophomore. He missed a lot of, quote unquote, the parties that could take place. And as I mentioned, when he went to Emerson, and then of course he left, when he went to Marquette, he became a frat boy. And I was really thrown for a loop because I didn't understand all the process you have to go through when they talk about things like rush. And he said, Mom, I won't be talking to you for about a week. And you're telling your mother you're not going to talk to her for a week? I don't think so. I said, oh, okay. And I didn't talk to him for 3 days, actually. And so I texted him and I said, how's it going? I was testing him, maybe he was, but I didn't hear anything. So I asked my husband, I said, what do I do? And he said, tell him to call the police. So I texted, if you don't answer me, I'm going to call the police. And I got an answer from him right away. And he goes, Mom, I'm fine. I'm in the middle, obviously. The guys, whoever is in charge of rushing or whatever you call it, saw and said, can I talk to my mom? And they weren't happy. They said no. But, Greek life is very complex. Mm-hmm. It made me nervous. But I learned fast. I learned what it entails. Then this one, the second one, the third oldest one, DePaul, it was more in the arena of film and acting, Greek life. So it was a lot more calm.
Yeah.
And now, as far as the last one with Isabel, sorority life, Kappa Kappa Gamma, it was very interesting because we're talking about girls here, and I know necessarily what it takes to get along with other girls, having, the two girls as bookends, the oldest one being a girl and my youngest one being a girl. I was worried, but it was fine. And Isabel was able to take care of herself, and she was able to figure it out. And she tends to play it under the radar, and she's very good at that. And I always have said to her, listen to yourself, listen to those around you. And I found that her choices, friends, kept her grounded.
Yeah.
And I was more than happy to have her do that.
Yeah.
My husband took care of the academics, I took care of the Greek life as best I could.
Well, that's a great segue into maybe talking a little bit about how you parented her, or coached her, I should say, through college, because your relationship with your kids changes quite a bit when they go to college. You stop being a owner of their educational records because of federal law. You also know that they're also establishing independence and their own sense of self.
But we cannot certainly be helicoptering them.
Yeah, right.
We cannot helicopter them. I know a lot of parents helicopter their kids, even in college. You need to give them as much independence as you can, but at the same time, you need to parent. You have to be a parent, but it's like you just said, it's in a different way.
Right. So, were there ever times when the urge to parent was really great? Did she call you with an issue or a concern, and you thought, "Gosh, I should get on a plane and go rescue her"? Or Did you ever or did you always have the ability to take a deep breath and take a step away? How did you keep yourself from flying up here to rescue her?
Well, I mean, I think it's natural as a parent to
Yeah.
say the first year is tough.
Yeah.
It's frightening, not knowing anyone, at least from her point of view, Isabel being homesick, being there to reassure her, feeling at the same time it's very painful for you, but we didn't come running here to console her. We listened to her and let her express herself. But because I'm deaf, I guess, I don't hear at night. I'm sure she called her dad many times on the phone, but I was sleeping there chatting on the phone. No, there was never a point where we felt there was an emergency. We had to come up and run up here. There were several cases where I knew that some friends of mine had to do that. Unfortunately, I know other parents have had that situation.
Yeah. And you talked a little bit about your mentor, Henry Winkler, yesterday, and it sounds like he taught you very valuable lessons. What are the things that you took away from that mentorship relationship that you brought to the way that you, for lack of a better word, mentored your kids through college and their maturation process?
Well, first of all, Henry Winkler was what we call a mensch.
Yeah.
And I've known him since I was 12 years old. Wow. And I'm 24 right now?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Anyway, no, he was someone who taught me a lot of things, but I can say that what he gave to me that I passed along was basically listen to yourself. Listen to your gut and think before you speak. And as I said, always ask for help, regardless of whether you think you can figure it out or not. Do not be afraid to ask for help. No question is stupid. No idea is ridiculous. It's all a part of life. To improve yourself is to ask questions.
Do you have any tips on how to coach a young person to have the courage to ask for help? They often see it as a sign of weakness or are taught that early in life. And it's not till they get to college and struggle that they have to learn that sometimes.
Listen, if you want something so badly, I think the important message is you have to think of something that you can feel comfortable with, where you can understand why it is that you want this so badly. Why is the question that you want to ask them. What it is that person you think will be able to understand what's going on when you approach them. Because it's not just one person who will understand everything that goes on in your life that you need or that you depend on or you feel conflicted about. As for myself, I say to my kids, I've always thought of different individuals for different reasons, for different needs.
Yeah.
As a person in the AAANA program, I try to figure out who is the best to talk to on a daily basis. It's not always the same. It makes me feel good, or maybe not, depends on what it is that I want to talk to them about. We typically tend to bottle up our feelings, and then it all comes pouring out at one point, and people find different ways to cope, to find a different way to feel better. Whatever works for you works for you. And a lot of things are easy to say than they are actually to do, and I get that.
Yeah. Especially when an 18-year-old.
Life is so complex. Say that again?
I was going to say, especially if you have an 18-year-old.
Oh,
Who would have thought they knew better than I did? I said to my kids, look, I don't know everything. I know a lot of things.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean I know everything, or it doesn't mean that I'm smarter than you or you're smarter than I am. I just have experienced life more than you have.
Yeah. Well, that will come too, right? Where they realize that you were right the whole time. They probably won't ever tell you.
We'll see about that.
What were you excited about for Isabel's journey to being a duck?
Well, I knew, first of all, that Isabel was going to go to college, but I didn't think that she would go to a university like
Okay.
this big, this big.
Okay.
She's very shy. As I mentioned, she's always played it under the radar.
Mm-hmm.
She's not an extrovert by any means. But this school brought it out of her a great deal more. And she's become more confident. She understands herself a lot more. She knows exactly that she is a human being with all the foibles that one has to figure out when they're navigating through life. Mm-hmm. But that the opportunity to figure out that whole thing with being amongst girls in her sorority, to understand that people go through the same things as you're going through, or a lot of similar things that she's gone through. I think for her, it was really interesting to see how much she changed as a result of that. And I want to see how it continues when she comes back home.
Yeah, yeah. It's fun to watch young people grow up. I get a chance to do that during their time at the U of O. Our department hires about 150 students a year, and we see sort of the flailing of a fledgling early on in their first and second year. And there's this magical moment somewhere between the middle of their second year and the beginning of the third year that they find a purpose. And you begin to see them really think about what they want out of life and what their goals really are. And their mindset changes about getting a degree versus earning a degree. And
you're talking about in the employment areas, or just
in general with students. We get a chance in our office to coach students through a lot of things. And it's really fun to watch them go from being just college kids to really interesting human beings who have a lot to say and aren't tripping over everything all the time. And I can imagine as a parent, that is really fun to watch in your own kids.
Yeah, and I look forward to more of that.
Yeah, it'll happen. Do you have any advice for parents we see a lot of parents who are sending their first child off to college during our orientation sessions. Do you have any advice for a first timer?
Brace yourselves. No, actually, let your child be.
Yeah.
Do not let them go 100%. However, do let them be. Don't helicopter them. Don't call them every day. Don't tell them to call you every day. Give them space. Give them room. Give them the chance to explore. Let them, they'll eventually make friends. But when they call you, make the time for them. Because them reaching out to you means something.
Yes.
Maybe they just want to talk. Maybe they're asking you for money. Or maybe they're just calling you for a reason. But listen to them. Be there for them. But at the same time, don't suffocate them. I know that the tendency is to want to know and say, yes, I know how it goes. This is what you should do. I've been there. I've done this and so forth. And we did this. And do your homework because I remember how important it was. And don't go to parties and don't drink too much because I know what it's like. They are here to go to school, obviously, but they're also here to grow. And they're also here to become their own person. So allow them the opportunity to enjoy college life. And this university in particular, they'll take good care of them. It's not going to be like they're babysitting your kid, but this university will provide them the best education that they can get. Just make sure to wear green and yellow every time you come up and visit.
Yes. I want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your wonderful remarks yesterday as well. And again, congratulations to both you and Isabel.
Thank you, thank you, thank you for the honor to be commencement speaker. It really was great. Congratulations to all the graduates. Really, the highest of congratulations to the best of you, to your future wherever it takes you.